wasting 30% of the food. So that comes to my, it seems like I'm like en skiva med repa I. Jag hakar upp mig. I'm coming back to the same issue about carbon pricing, because if you think of it, what's the big dilemma today? Well, it is that ecological food is roughly 20-25% more expensive than conventional food. So that's why it hits a ceiling. So in Sweden, the ceiling is roughly 15%. It's only 50% of consumers that buy ecological food. You don't come higher, actually. You don't come higher in any economy, because we consumers, the majority of the consumers, they're not skeptical, but they're just indifferent, and they just buy the cheapest tomatoes. And they will always buy the cheapest tomatoes. So is it reasonable that sustainable food is more expensive? Of course not, because the only reason why the conventional food is cheaper is that it's produced at the expense of the planet. So somebody's paying, but the invoices is not shown on the price in the store. So there's a very simple solution, of course, to put a kind of a planetary externalities price on conventional food. You just simply increase the actual cost of conventional food so that food gets more expensive. Food must become more expensive. It's very difficult to have that argument because it will hit the low-income households. My suggestion is that you create a barnbidrag on food, so everyone in low-income households get, just like you get for children, you get a monthly quota for food to compensate for increased food prices. But you can imagine the situation if you enter a store and all food costs the same, if it's ecological or conventional, and I can promise you that would lead to everyone picking the ecological tomatoes. Why would you not take them if they're cheaper? So I think it's a question of price mechanism that's the challenge here. But I would not, at least I would not be nervous about focusing a lot on ecological food. And then finally just say that it's a very debated, heated issue, this, because some talk about biodynamic food, and then you have ecological food, and what is ecological food? And some of the proud Swedish farmers rightly say, well, I may not be an ecological farmer, but I'm a very responsible, normal farmer, and I do really high quality food. So why treat me as a bad producer of food when, and that's correct, actually, that I would suggest to get rid of ecological food label at all. I mean, everything should be sustainable. That should be the normal situation. So it's that's why, as I think Kalle started, it is complex.
I think I have one more question for you, Johan.